American investors, both institutional and individual alike, are buying up Bitcoin. It's selling like hotcakes. Where does that expression come from, by the way? Selling like hotcakes. Who's buying that many hotcakes? Anyway, I'm going to take a look at the Bitcoin and Ethereum charts right now, as well as all of the news that is driving the markets. You do not want to miss this. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and go ahead and smite that like button so that it shall be smoten. I don't know how you smash a like button, so I'm going to tell you to smite the like button first. Before we get started, I have to remind you guys I'm giving away $5,000, 10 prizes in Bitcoin and Ethereum when I hit 100,000 subscribers. Hopefully that will be sooner and later. I want to give back to the community. All of the information is in a link right down below in the description. Click on that, subscribe to the channel. You can enter as many times as you want and take my money. Now, as I said in the title, what is the best strategy for Bitcoin? Something I talk about all the time, but always important to remind you. Trading is not the best strategy to acquire an asset that you believe will be more valuable in the future than it is right now. The best strategy is to dollar cost average, buy and hold. Buy dips, dollar cost average. I have a number of strategies how I do this. Now, for me with Bitcoin, it's something that I buy every single week, usually on a Monday morning, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., regardless of the price. I buy a little bit of Bitcoin, something that I've been doing for probably 5 years now. It's been an incredible strategy. The gains are absolutely astounding. I also dollar cost average into Ethereum, and I do this using, you guys maybe have heard me talk about it before, RoundTheX, which is a platform that rounds up your transactions to the nearest dollar, much like Acorns with legacy markets. And then I attach that to Voyager. Voyager is where I do most of my trading and investing because you can earn yield and trade there. And it automatically rounds up all of my small purchases. I put it on 10X and it just buys Ethereum every single day, 20, 30, 40, 70, 90, $7 every single day, multiple times a day. I'm buying Ethereum. Guys, almost every market in history, certainly every successful market, has risen over time. If you take a look at the Dow Jones, it's literally only gone up in all of history. Never goes down. There's always temporary moments, but in any 10-year period, the Dow Jones is up 7% minimum. It always goes up with time, largely because of inflation, as we know. But the game is, if you know there's going to be inflation and money printing, to hold and own hard assets that will beat inflation. If you look even at the Great Depression, it was the greatest buying opportunity of all time for people who actually had cash on hand and were flush. The Bitcoin market will always continue to rise. There will always be money printing, and this is a deflationary, mathematically scarce asset. You want to buy it. You want to hold it. If you insist on trading it, do it with a small part of your capital. But what you want to do is take money that you don't need to touch for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, even if it's a tiny amount, buy Bitcoin, dollar cost average, and hold. Now we're going to take a very quick look at the Bitcoin chart as well as the Ethereum chart, and then all of the news driving markets today. And guys, there is a lot of it. So here we go. First, let's look at the daily chart. This is the Bollinger Band chart. Listen, I circled December back here. I had a similar path. You can see that we've clearly followed it, but this does look like that move. Not on the scale of this one, looking a bit more exhausted here. Got on top of the bands temporarily, but never again. And now the bands are tightening once again. We've seen them tightening here in December, April, and now again in August, getting very tight, which means that the upside move could be exhausting a bit, means that there's more volatility likely coming as much as the bands continue to tighten. So if you're a B-band trader right now, this mid-level right here, the blue line, that's the EQ of the Bollinger Bands, the center line, that becomes a key support. It's holding it right now. It's at about 46,750, 46,008, something like that. So we're going to be watching to see if that can hold, but the bands are once again tightening. As you can see, the same daily chart we had yesterday popped right off the support yesterday. That was encouraging. But while I was sleeping, the price dropped once again. It does look like we're getting a bit of bounce. It bottomed out here around 46,258, currently trading at 47,242. It's about $1,000 bounce. It'll be interesting to see if this can close above this line. But even as I said to you guys, this is a really steep line. This is not the kind of support you want to trade on because eventually, obviously, it has to break down. Just an idea that I was seeing shared all over the place. So you like to draw it on your chart when other people are looking at it. Not particularly concerned, but maybe, we started to see a drop down to 44,000, 43,980 kind of on these swing lows right here. If this continues to drop. And then ultimately, guys, everybody, not just me, staring at that 40,000 to 43,000 range. If it drops that far, 42,000 maybe gets slightly front run, kind of like it did here, right? But this is a huge area, right? All the way back to here, 42,000. And maybe it nukes through, you get a wick and a lower entry and it comes back up. Will be interesting to see. Now, on the daily chart, we've had a lot of bearish divergence. I've talked about this over and over and over again. Has seemingly generally been followed by hidden bullish divergence. See right here, low on RSI, lower low, low on price, higher low. So that canceled the bearish divergences that were here. Well, we had another bearish divergence, and now there's a huge question mark here. So do not use this. But if we have price closing where it is or lower, we would have a potential hidden bullish divergence once again with higher lows on RSI and lower lows on price. We would need to see this close below this low here on RSI and then a very definitive elbow like one of these where it makes a clear move to the upside. So we have days and days and days to figure out if that is a viable possibility and if that's potentially going to happen. Drilling in here on the 4 hours, still holding this demand zone here. Surprisingly, it nuked through. When I woke up, I was like, oh, it's losing that. Nope, still back above it right now or in it. We'll see if this is a real bounce and price continue up. We have 3.5 hours left on this candle. So all this price action on the 4 hours has been the last half hour. You cannot judge this candle yet. But if it closed like this would be a reversal type candle. Nice long wick down, hammer. You'd want to see it close even higher up because this still has the wick up top. But this would be a bullish reversal signal if we see bullish follow through on the next candle. If we lose this area, the next demand is down here between 44.2 and 44.6. Ultimately, 42K, the area I think that most people are watching. Now let's take a look at Ethereum. Nothing's changed here on the ETH BTC chart. Sitting here in this major demand, but in a descending wedge. You expect this to break to the upside and eventually target the top. No reason right here to really get particularly bearish on ETH against Bitcoin, except for the fact that it has lost the EQ here as support. But trading around that EQ is more like consolidation. I'm still looking for this descending wedge to break to the upside, bringing price back to at least this area right here around that. Yeah, right there to the top. And if that happens, well, we should be expecting a trip to the top. Ethereum USD really trading sideways above the range, right? So we dropped accumulation here in this range, some beautiful SFPs at the bottom, double bottom popped up. We should see price continue to trade above 3,000. If Bitcoin nukes, that will not be the case. We know that. But theoretically, we've broken above. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tests of this range as support that have held. Clearly, the 3,000 area is very strong. If we see us lose that, trade back in the range, that's when we start talking about 24, kind of this area, 26. But I really think that we should see this hold. Either way, the real trade here now is a break above 33.30. You want to get above that, test this support, above that, test this support, and head up. For now, this is kind of ranging. I would not want to touch this if I was trading it. Now let's dig into the news. Bitcoin 60% rally from July lows, maybe running out of steam. Chart patterns signal token struggling at lines of resistance. Crypto under pressure Thursday amid caution in global markets. Has nothing to do with global markets. They don't even talk about that in the article. They just put that there as a headline. But as you can see here, John Bollinger, inventor of the Bollinger Bands, in a tweet suggested taking some profits or hedging. Here's what he said. Time to pay attention. Bitcoin, watch carefully, maybe take some profits or hedge a bit. Aggressive traders can think about putting out some shorts. Hodlers can look at add at lower levels if we see them. No confirmation yet, just be on the alert. And he sort of hinted at the same ideas that the Bollinger Bands are starting to tighten, and we want to see them hold that 50% level. Also, they talk about RSI divergence, something that I've been talking about for a very, very long time. They also mentioned the point and figure chart, which, if you guys don't know, spotlights the direction of prices, but without time, right? And it's saying that it needs to break this 45% line, but this line is attached to literally nothing. It's not attached to the top of that X. It's cutting through this one. It's cutting through this one. That's absurd. There's nothing to be seen there. That's not a valid line, in my opinion. On to the next story. Microsoft is awarded U.S. patent for crypto token creation service. What? Does that mean that Bill Gates is going to be putting microchips into all of our blockchains as well as all of our vaccines? Oh my God, the conspiracy theories about Bill Gates. But anyways, the patent describes a ledger-independent system for helping users create and manage tokens across different networks. Basically, it's a platform that will allow users to create their own blockchains for multiple different purposes and use cases. Whoa. Can you imagine if Microsoft allows your everyday person, your everyday company to maximize the power of the blockchain easily on a platform you go on? It's like, get on my, well, it wouldn't be an iPhone if it's Microsoft. Get on my iPhone. I need a new blockchain for my enterprise software. And you like push a few buttons and all of a sudden you have a functioning blockchain and a token. That's the direction that Microsoft's trying to take this. Absolutely huge to see this patent filed. Three Arrows Capital CEO Suzu outlines his bullish thesis for Dogecoin. Three Arrows Capital CEO is bullish on Dogecoin because it's easy to understand and captures the attention of blue-collar traders. Actually kind of hard to argue with this thinking. Here you go. The best way to understand Doge, I think, is that if you look at Robinhood, which is sort of the most blue-collar style of crypto investing, Doge is 60% of their crypto revenue, and crypto is 40% of Robinhood's revenue. So Robinhood is basically a Doge proxy. It was a really interesting point here that the mainstream and not necessarily the crypto audience has been looking at Doge and they're trading it on Robinhood. They're listening to people like Mark Cuban, obviously, and of course, Elon Musk and what they're saying about Doge. So that is a pretty viable case if you believe that people will not get bored of it and will continue to trade it. As I've said a number of times, this is scary to me for Robinhood because if people lose interest in Doge, Robinhood is going to lose a massive, massive amount of income on this trading. I don't know what you guys think of Doge. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Obviously, it started as a meme coin. It was a joke that we traded for years, made tons of money on and loved it. I did not take the mega run seriously. It was very retail driven and obviously Elon Musk, but it's still hanging out up there and there still seems to be interest. So maybe it's time to start taking Doge a little more seriously, especially now that Vitalik Buterin is on the Dogecoin Foundation. Asset managers and companies accumulate 1.2 million Bitcoin worth $57 billion. Here's some of the hot takes from this. According to Buy Bitcoin Worldwide, 816,379 Bitcoin worth $40 billion is currently held by 14 Bitcoin fund issuers and asset managers representing 4% of cryptocurrency's total supply. So 4% of all of Bitcoin is held by these asset managers. 34 public companies that hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet collectively represent 1% of Bitcoin supply. Most astoundingly, half of that 1%. So half of 1% of all Bitcoin is held by Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, but very, very clear that institutions are here and that they are a significant player based on how much they're holding and how much more they're looking to acquire. This is part of the Americans are bullish on Bitcoin, but we'll get into that a little more in a moment. Again, institutional interest. Morgan Stanley increases its crypto exposure with large investments in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. You can see this tweet right here in SEC filings. Morgan Stanley has just reported owning a large amount of GBTC across multiple portfolios. The largest of these appears to be 928,051 shares held by Morgan's Insight Fund. These are major disclosures. Look to the filings. Guys, this is crazy because nobody's talking about it and they have not been talking about it, but they have GBTC in a number of their funds worth tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars. Of course, GBTC is a proxy for people who want to buy Bitcoin, but maybe are not allowed to. Their company may have limits on may have restrictions on what they're allowed to do. That's why an ETF is so exciting if it comes, because this wall of money that can't buy and custody Bitcoin because of their risk managers would be able to enter. But GBTC is right now the only asset for them to do that, even though it trades at like a 16% discount. Pretty crazy. But Morgan Stanley basically going in heavily on Bitcoin right now and quietly. Really big news and being underreported. eToro's Q2 crypto income soared by 23 times compared to last year. No surprises here. We saw what Coinbase did in their Q2 filing. Q2 of last year was, April, May, and June was absolutely astounding for crypto volumes. That's when Bitcoin peaked at 65,000, but 23 times compared to last year. We all know also that eToro is getting ready to go public, to IPO. So this is worth watching. Will be interesting, much like with Coinbase, to see how much of a dip there was over the summer in Q3, but very clear that retail is here and they are trading their asses off. 11% of young Americans have invested their stimulus checks into crypto. Boom. Americans are bullish on Bitcoin. When you give money to young people, they buy crypto. Interestingly, though, it's 11% said that they put their stimulus checks into crypto, but 16%, I believe, is what it said. Yeah, 16%, 15% were seeking exposure to stocks. So it's pretty amazing that crypto has closed the gap so much, but still, even in that generation, a slightly larger percentage bought stocks with their stimulus checks and extra money than they did crypto. But clearly the trend is up. It was 6% only a few months ago, and now is up to 11%. Young people will drive adoption of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. We know that. And almost all money in the world is controlled by boomers who sadly will eventually pass that money on to their millennial, Gen Z, Gen Y children. And what do you think they're going to buy with it? This is what I'm talking about. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. We are at the very beginning. Price is going to only continue to rise over time, even just because of inflation. Even if you don't believe in it, it's a great hedge against inflation. You'll see it rise, even if it's relatively the same cost adjusted for inflation. When all that money comes down to the younger people who understand, they don't care about physical money, they want digital money, the price is only going to go up. That's why you buy and dollar cost average Bitcoin and you hold it for a very long time. Billionaire Nixon's family office plans to boost crypto bets. This is Simon Nixon, not to be confused with our beloved Simon Dixon in the Bitcoin space. Simon Nixon, this is the guy who started moneysupermarket.com, has billions and billions of dollars in a family office, and is hiring and looking to get into crypto. This will be a huge buy if he comes in. Finally, Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Solana send DeFi value to record levels. TVL, total value locked in DeFi protocols, is near an all-time high across chains. It's a lot of money, guys. $157 billion locked in DeFi. $157 billion. 114 of that is Ethereum. So clearly Ethereum is still massively dominating DeFi no matter what happens on these other chains. Let's see, 19.3 billion is from Binance Chain. Solana has 2.5 billion. Terra blockchain around 6 billion. So clearly Ethereum is dominating, but let's kind of dig into this just a little bit rationally. The headline is not misleading, but it can be sort of misread. TVL is at record levels, but that's not in this case because so much more new money has plowed in. It's because these coins have risen so dramatically. If you're locking Ethereum, Solana, Terra, Luna into these protocols, and those are doubling in price, obviously the TVL goes up tremendously. So a lot of this is a result of the coins appreciating, the value of the coins, and that is massively increasing TVL. But either way, nobody can make the argument that DeFi is not here to stay. Hundreds of billions of dollars locked in DeFi. This is the future of finance, which is why I dollar cost average into Ethereum as well as Bitcoin. I am just not on board with only choosing one asset and riding it till the death. Guys, that is everything that I have for you today. Once again, I do have the giveaway right down below. Please go ahead. You can enter as many times as you want. $5,000 of my own money. Also, you can go ahead and sign up for the newsletter right down below. Today's newsletter is free. F-R-E-E, free. Free. Every 2 weeks on a Thursday, I put out a newsletter that is completely free to anyone who wants to register. That is because I have always believed there should be a free version. The paid version is $15 a month, comes out 5 days a week. This is the same product free as it is paid. It's just a bit less frequent, guys. That is everything I have for you today. Tomorrow, I will be back with the chart guys on Bullish on Bitcoin at 1:30 p.m. EDT. So make sure to tune in for that. And also, once again, we'll be here at 8:30 a.m. Hope you guys have a great day. See you later. Peace.
That's dope.